Hello everyone, welcome to Urbanscape Bangalore, and in this episode we will be talking about the azalea plant. In this episode we will primarily look at repotting the azalea and the potting mix that is so important to grow this plant. So I will cover this in parts instead of covering everything about this plant in this episode because this is a very new plant in my garden and I'm as inexperienced as you are in growing this plant. So over time, you will see another part. By then, I hopefully would have learned a lot about this plant. So the azalea is an acid-loving plant that grows well in organically rich soil. It belongs to the genus Rhododendron. It is a spring-blooming plant primarily, however, for Indian conditions, I need to see when this exactly blooms, and I will update you soon. They are native to Asia, Europe, and North America. This is a very toxic plant, so keep your kids or pets away from ingesting any part of this plant. It is said that even the honey is toxic, and some beekeepers deliberately feed bees with their honey to get a kind of honey called mad honey that is used as a recreational drug or even used in treatments. This is a culturally significant plant in China. Japan and America have their own azalea festivals even. The plant loves moderate and temperate climatic conditions. Too much cold or heat is not preferred. However, there are some varieties that are cold tolerant depending on where you live. The flowers of this plant come in different colors and there are many different cultivars of this plant. The flowers are almost papery to touch and lasts for several weeks. This is largely pest resistant and they primarily are shade-loving plants that are grown under the shade of trees. However, to get heavy blooming in this plant, bright light conditions are necessary. So this is the experiment that I'm going to do because I've heard that there are different kinds of azaleas that are both shade-loving and can grow under full sun. So I'm growing mine under full sun as of now, taking care to see that I water it every day without letting the soil go dry. But remember, I'm trying this under mild climatic conditions that Bangalore experiences. So please don't try this if you stay in hot, arid areas. But just to be safe, I will be taking cuttings of the plant to not lose it in the future. Another thing is that once the blooming is done, you must prune the plant because it does well when pruned. But as always, don't overdo anything. Now for the important part. The potting mix. So I'm repotting this plant into this fairly bigger container with a hole at the bottom. As customary, I'm adding drainage materials at the bottom. Remove the plant carefully from the old pot without breaking the root ball. These plants have very fine and shallow roots. Unless and until it is heavily pot bound, don't do anything to the roots. Now since this plant is an acid-loving plant, I'm going to add some organic matter into it. So for this, I will be adding cow dung powder, compost and goat manure in a mix of 40% sand, 30% compost and 30% garden soil. I'm using cow dung powder and goat manure that is rich in nitrogen so that there is more foliage. The compost is rich in humus, which is very important for an acid-loving plant. Whatever the potting mix you use, you must make sure that it is well draining. If you don't have any of these, your kitchen waste is more than enough. Add lots of tea leaves or coffee grounds to make the soil acidic. Now add the plant carefully and backfill. See to it that the level at which it is in the container is the same as before and it is not too deep or high above the topsoil. Now add water and keep it under part shade conditions, my experiments notwithstanding. Watering this plant regularly during summer and reducing it during winter is advisable. Watering also depends on whether this is under shade or full sun. It doesn't like being in soggy soil that will cause rotting and the plant will die. Fertilize this plant twice a month during summer with organic fertilizers that I mentioned above and your azaleas will bloom and sprinkle its charm throughout the garden. With this, we have come to the end of yet another episode of Urbanscape Bangalore. In the next series of azaleas, you will see its pruning, propagation, and also I will update on whether this likes full sun or part shade in a mild climate like Bangalore's. So if you like this series of azalea, then please like, share, and subscribe. Additionally, you can also follow me on Instagram and Facebook. The links are given below. So thank you for watching and until we meet again, goodbye.